Health Sciences program. I've been involved in this program since its inception, and it fills my heart to come to work every day and to work with our students on a great program that I hope we can interest you in and encourage you to apply if it looks like it fits well with your future goals. I'm joined this evening from our program office by Mrs. Jennifer Logan. She can give a little wave. She has her video on as well. Jennifer is our program coordinator. She is our student advisor and the individual who really helps to guide students through their 4 years in the Bachelor of Health Sciences program. She's a font of knowledge of all things at the university, and so she's helping me out today. What we want to do today is, or this evening, it's evening time in Calgary, if you've joined us from elsewhere, is I'm going to give a brief presentation that gives you an overview of the Bachelor of Health Sciences program, highlight some of the successes and the pathways our alumni have gone, and talk a little bit about the admissions process, because I imagine all of you are joining us because you have interest in potentially applying to the Bachelor of Health Sciences program. At the end of that, we want to open the floor. I've got the chat open so I can see folks. I would encourage you to place your questions in the chat. It's a nice way for me to follow them along. Jennifer can follow along as well. And we'll try to answer as many of the questions that you have this evening. So with that, I will turn to sharing my screen and we'll get started. Okay, wonderful. Jennifer, can you give me a thumbs up that you see the first slide? Thank you. So welcome to the Bachelor of Health Sciences program. As I said, my name is Dr. Ebba Kurtz. Before we begin the formal presentation, at the University of Calgary, we acknowledge and we value and we recognize our strong relationship with the Indigenous communities, particularly the traditional, acknowledging that our university resides on the traditional territories of the people of the Treaty 7 region in southern Alberta. This includes the Blackfoot Confederacy, which is comprising the Siksika, Piikani, and Kainai First Nations, as well as the Tsuut'ina First Nation and the Stoney Nakoda, including the Chiniki, Bearspaw, and Wesley First Nations. The city of Calgary is also home to Métis Nation of Alberta Region 3. And Jennifer and I have the great fortune to be able to live, work, and play on this beautiful land. So let me tell you a little bit about the history of the Bachelor of Health Sciences program. We really take an innovative and transformative approach to undergraduate science education. This is unlike traditional science programs, Bachelor of Science programs that are offered both within the University of Calgary and in fact at our sister institutions across the country. We set out 20 years ago to really reimagine what undergraduate science education could be. We enrolled our first students in September of 2003, so we're just shy of reaching the 20-year mark of when we first welcomed students through our doors. And we were supported initially by a foundational gift from Gail and David O'Brien, who are very generous benefactors from Calgary, and that allowed us to set up modern, well-equipped teaching labs. We have a full computer lab and access to a high-density computing cluster. It allows us to provide scholarship support that's unique to the Bachelor of Health Sciences program, as well as support for our summer studentship program, which I'll talk a little bit more about later in the presentation. An overview of the Bachelor of Health Sciences program, and I apologize, I'm going to just float the chat on top so I can see if anybody is asking questions. If you choose to apply to the Bachelor of Health Sciences program, you will note that we have 3 majors of study, and you select your major of study at the time of application. Those are biomedical sciences, bioinformatics, and health and society. Those are our 3 majors of study. Our program, our curriculum is focused on inquiry-based learning, which is really offering opportunities for you to, select what it is that you're working on for some of your assignments, to follow some of your own interests. We are certainly research intensive and research focused, and we teach research skills from understanding how to access academic scientific literature, to teaching you research techniques in your chosen area, and culminating in your honors thesis project, which is a major project that all students undertake in their 4th year. And we are writing intensive. We believe that it is important that you gain strong skills in written communication and in writing for different types of audiences. So this is not only academic writing that you would do for a specialist audience, but also writing for an audience that may have a very different background, or writing for policy in government and so forth. So to achieve this, all of our students enroll in a core set of courses that take place across the 4 years of study that teach research literacy, research skills, oral and written communication skills, and teamwork skills. And all of these are transferable skills that go into a wide range of careers. Our program culminates. Every student undertakes a major research project in their 4th year. It seems daunting, it seems overwhelming, but in fact, we ladder your learning to prepare you to be successful in that. And so at the moment, we're a fairly small program. We have 380 students enrolled across all 4 years of our study. And so we typically invite approximately 105 new students into year 1. So I want to highlight the 3 majors and a little bit about them. So the health and society major, the students in this major really study and research ways to prevent disease, promote good health, improve the quality of the healthcare system, both locally and globally. And they do so by blending the social sciences and the health science approaches to explore concepts of health equity and public health. I certainly think the COVID-19 pandemic has really shone a light on the importance of strong healthcare systems, of public health systems, and of epidemiology, all of which are elements of the health and society major. Now, students in the health and society major, towards the end of year 1 of study, declare a concentration. They make a decision to focus their coursework in one of the social sciences while considering the broader umbrella of health and health research. And that determines this coursework focus. And so at the end of year 1, they choose from one of the following concentrations: anthropology, community rehabilitation and disability studies, economics, geography, political science, psychology, or sociology. And while they build that coursework, they're answering health research questions through that lens. Bioinformatics is a field that sits at the intersection of computing science and biology. So the courses that students take are practical, they're application-based, and they learn skills like using the high-performance cluster of computers, as you see on the right, to analyze large volumes of data, to create new software tools, or to apply machine learning algorithms. I think back in my own scientific career at the cost of sequencing a single human genome, billions of dollars and dozens of labs around the world. And now with a machine that could sit on the side of my desk, and for around $1,000 per genome, we can gather enormous amounts of data, and students studying bioinformatics, among other things, learn how to develop tools and apply tools to understanding those data sets. Bioinformatics students take coursework in biology, in computing science, as well as mathematics and statistics as part of their course. Their BHSC specific courses include the following that I've listed here: on applied bioinformatics, an introduction to bioinformatics, computational bioinformatics, research methods, advanced bioinformatics, and AI applications in health. Our biomedical sciences major establishes a solid foundation in the basic biomedical sciences and in scientific methods. And it looks at health sciences research all the way from molecular biology to genetics to immunology. And that may be applied in different disease states like cancer biology, neuroscience, or infectious disease. And you're taught really some of the latest developments and technologies in your research skills. In addition to the inquiry courses that students take, these are ones that bring together students from across all three majors of study. Biomedical sciences majors take year one foundation courses in biology, chemistry, calculus, physics, and often English. Sometimes they'll delay their English course to a later year. They take year two courses in cell biology, genetics, biochemistry, and organic chemistry. And then some of the option courses, they have more choice in where they wish to study in years 3 and 4, but it includes human physiology, anatomy, pharmacology, cancer biology, immunology, genomics, genetics, and our research courses. And all BHSC students, whether they're health and society, bioinformatics, or biomedical sciences, can complement their program by adding independent study courses to their course list. This is a course where you identify something that is of great interest to you, identify a faculty member working in that area, and we set up a course with an enrollment of 1. Imagine that, a university course with an enrollment of 1. And you are mentored and supported either for 1 academic term or for the full academic year to pursue an independent project of interest to you and earn course credit towards that. And it's a very popular option with our students because it gives them an opportunity to really pursue and hone their own research interests. So many of you joining us on this call tonight are looking at many universities for your post-secondary journey. And so I want to take a minute and talk about some of the advantages that we have here at the University of Calgary. University of Calgary ranks, despite being such a young institution, I think we're only 52 or 53 years old now, ranks among the world's top 200 universities, which is astonishing considering the number of universities that we have in the world. We care a great deal about student learning and the student experience. And as a consequence, we have what's a 95% undergraduate retention rate. That's a metric that measures how many students who begin at the University of Calgary continue at the University of Calgary. Other universities, students become disenfranchised or they find it to be a difficult transition because they're not supported. And so this metric is really quite extraordinary. We are a research-focused university, and that's shown by almost $500 million in sponsored research funding that comes in annually to the professors at the University of Calgary. And those are the individuals who support our students in research projects in their research environments, be that a laboratory or a computing lab or a research out in the community in health and society. And we are also so very fortunate to have the support of our Calgary community. And we have well over $1.2 billion of philanthropic support that came in our last fundraising campaign. And we are so grateful. And among the supports, the Taylor family in the city of Calgary has been particularly generous, and they donated funds to create this beautiful building I'm showing here, which is the Taylor Institute for Teaching and Learning, which is actually a bit of an experimental hub, an opportunity for us to train and foster the best post-secondary teachers and to create the best post-secondary learning environment we can. And we're very, very proud of this. Quite unusual in universities across the country. What are some of the advantages of the BHSC program? We have a smaller class size. So while some of your classes will be on the main campus at the University of Calgary, we're primarily headquartered at the medical school campus adjacent to Foothills Medical Center in the city of Calgary. But when you take classes, or BHSC specific classes, you have smaller class sizes. And so you really develop a community with the cohort that you join in, your peers that learn together with you. We have the best student advisor ratio on campus to help you through your journey. Individuals like Jennifer who can advise you on courses, can advise you on support services available, can make sure that your journey through your undergraduate program is as positive an experience as it can be. May not be easy all the time, but we aim to support you to the best of our ability. We have an award-winning teaching faculty and program staff, and it's not just one of us, it is many who teach in the program, who have won university-wide teaching awards, Killam teaching awards, and student union teaching awards, which are nominated by our students. We take an inquiry-based approach with our learning. So rather than you sitting and just taking in things passively as the professor drones on at the front of the room, we engage you in classroom-based discussions, in pursuing projects and assignments, following things that are of interest to you, perhaps limited in scope a little bit, but you still have choice and an opportunity to display your learning in different ways. And we are a research-intensive program in a research-intensive faculty. That means that all students participate in research through their courses, and many students take advantage of our summer research studentships, where you can actually apply to be paid to work in a research lab on a project for the summer. And our summer runs May, June, July, and August, so for 4 months. And of course, we have our customized research courses in addition to our regular research courses. We are interdisciplinary, and there's great value in that. Many teams in the workforce, in healthcare teams, in research teams are interdisciplinary, and they take advantage of that because it brings together different perspectives and an understanding of that. So in the BHSC program, you actually learn how to function in interdisciplinary teams. Although you will specialize in your major, you will learn from your colleagues in the other majors of the program, enriching your own perspectives on your research questions. We have lots of enrichment opportunities. We are proud supporters of the University of Calgary's iGEM team. This is the Internationally Genetically Engineered Machines competition, and the University of Calgary is among the winningest teams in iGEM history from universities across the world. Although it's been stymied a little bit by the effects and travel restrictions from COVID-19, we still have an active global health program. And when travel is allowed, we have a summer program where there are opportunities for students to seek a summer internship in a global health site. These are competitively placed. We have a mentorship program we encourage students to participate in that aligns you, connects you with a faculty member in the School of Medicine with whom you can meet. It might be once a month, it might be once a term, but who can provide you some mentorship, some perspective on their career path, perhaps connecting you with individuals they know in your area of interest. We have a buddy program that supports our incoming students by matching you with an upper year student who can help with everything from where do I go for this class, or how do I manage, to where are the best chicken wings around. The buddy program really is there to be a support to you in your transition to university. Because we are research and focused, we proudly celebrate our students' research at an annual research symposium. You can see some photos to the right of students standing adjacent to their research posters and sharing their work with the campus community. We even invite in some Calgary area high school teachers to see what work is being done at the Bachelor of Health Sciences program and to see where some of their high school graduates have gone on to succeed. We have lots of community engagement, and our students learn from our alumni. Tomorrow night, we've got a study abroad session. In a few weeks, we've got an evening with our alumni who come in and talk to our students about their career paths, about what they took from the Bachelor of Health Sciences program that has enriched their careers moving forward. And again, when travel is possible, we offer conference travel grants when students are ready to share their research at academic research symposia around the world. And so we help to offset that cost. So a lot of people ask, what can you do with your Bachelor of Health Sciences program? And I think I take our alumni as a sign of our success. We are but 18 years young, and where have they gone and what have they done? Well, about just over a third of our alumni choose to go to medical school. So the Bachelor of Health Sciences program can be one path you take if medical school is a destination you're looking for. But I think many have their interest peaked in research. And so another third go on to graduate school, which means earning their master's or their PhD. A small fraction go on to a combined program where you can, in one cohort, earn your MD and PhD or MD and MSc. Another 12% go on to other professional degree programs. This might be law, dentistry, MBA, optometry, runs the gamut. And then about 15% of our graduates choose to enter the workforce or to join non-governmental organizations in the work that they do. So where do they go? Well, our graduates, if they go on to additional schooling in professional programs, graduate programs, or medical school, do so from coast to coast in Canada. But they also attend some of the top universities south of the border in the US, Harvard, Stanford, Columbia, and Yale among them. Importantly, when I talk to our graduates who are attending those institutions, and I ask them, how are you doing? How well prepared were you to succeed in that environment? And without exception, they say they are doing swimmingly well and were extraordinarily well prepared, particularly in presenting their work and in writing about it. And our students go internationally as well to study at the top universities around the world. I encourage you, if you're interested, to explore our website in many ways, but particularly our alumni page has profiles of a number of our past graduates and some of the wonderful, interesting things that they have done. And our students continue to achieve. So we've been so proud in recent years to have two of our graduates be named Rhodes Scholars. And both Emily and Rahul are now studying in the UK at the University of Oxford. Another one of our graduates in the class of 17, Eliot Reichert, he first did a master's at Cambridge University and was the top graduate in his class, and that's why he's wearing these fancy robes. And he was then awarded the Knight Hennessy Scholarship and is now studying at Stanford University. The Knight Hennessy is a newer award, but it is hoped and was established for study at Stanford to be an equivalent to the Rhodes Scholarship in prestige. So many of you in advance of or while registering for it had questions about applying to the program. And so let me spend the last two slides covering what that looks like. When we look at applicants to our program, we look at two distinct things in your application. We look at the average of the high school courses that we require for admission. So these are the Alberta-based curriculum courses, and if you're an international student, we have an office that can help evaluate your background. But it is grade 12 biology or Bio 30, Chem 30, English 30-1, Math 30-1, and a fifth academic course that the university will select from your transcript that is the best course that you have available. So it might be social studies, it might be Spanish, it might be physics, whatever that is, the university will add it. The average of those 5 courses, if it meets 85%, you meet the minimum threshold of GPA that will have your application sent to our program office for further review. The second component that will be looked at is your supplementary application score. Once you have applied to the University of Calgary's Bachelor of Health Sciences program, then you will receive a new link. And that link guides you to our supplementary application system, where you will be asked to answer 4 questions. These are written answers, but not too long. So there's a character limit on them. These are questions for which there are no right or wrong answers. You can't Google the answer. They're giving us insight into how you approach the questions. We're looking at how thoughtful you are in your answers. And so these must be answered by you and you alone. And when you submit your supplementary application, it's not a timed thing. So you can look at the questions, you can go away, you can work on it over the weekend, over a week, over a month, and come back and enter your answers in the system. Once they're submitted to us, we strip away any identifiers. So your answers are assigned just a number, and we send it out to multiple reviewers who will then score your application. And so what we end up is having your high school average on one side and having your supplementary score on the other. And we consider the two together and virtually equal. So I encourage you, if you are applying, to take the time to carefully consider your answers to your supplementary application. Because we have denied students who have an extraordinarily high school average who haven't really given us very insightful and reflective answers to their questions. And we have students who have a slightly lower GPA, but who have given us a really thoughtful response, who've been admitted to our program. What we're looking for is the right fit to our program. We believe as well that we are richer by having a diverse student population. And that diversity comes in many ways. We want students who come from urban centers and rural centers, from different lived experiences, from different socioeconomic classes, from different paths in their life. And we capture some of that and can reflect on some of that in the way that you approach your supplementary application. Now, I've got a question that's popped up in my chat that is saying, what if I'm not taking some of these 30-level courses until next semester? No problem. What we will do is the university will evaluate you on your performance in the 20-level course that is available at the time of application. So if you've got 3 of these 30-level, but you're not taking Math 30-1 until next term, we will look at your Math 20-1 in place of that as we consider you. All right. So in fact, for those who are applying today, and you may only have one 30-level course, or you may have no 30-level courses, we will consider your 20-level courses in the first round. And if those aren't at a high enough standard, we will continue looking at your 30-level courses as they come in. Even if we look at a 20-1 course, for example, you still must complete the 30-1 because that's part of finalizing your admission process. Please be aware, if you are applying to our program, we only look at those choosing us as their first choice program. Okay, so only first choice applicants are considered. And the application deadline for the university for any program, and this includes our supplementary application deadline, is March 1st, 2022. The only case where that deadline doesn't apply is if you are applying for prestige scholarships at the University of Calgary, which includes our Leader in Health Sciences Scholarship, And the deadline for that, the deadline to apply is December 1st, with a supplementary application deadline of December 15th. Okay, but that's only if you're applying or wanting to be considered for the Leader in Health Sciences scholarship. So I'm going to catch a couple of these questions because they're specifically related to this. What are the Ontario equivalents? Gosh, I don't know, and maybe Jennifer will be able to look that up for what it is. But the university application site does show what, so if you go into the University of Calgary application system and you indicate what you're interested in applying for and indicate where your secondary schooling is, so which province, and if you select Ontario there, it will show you the Ontario credit equivalents of what those courses are. Okay, and off the top of my head, I can't recall what in particular. The math is called something different. So it would be a grade 12 biology, a grade 12 chemistry, the highest level English course you could do. It's the math that you are relations and functions or something like that you'll have to be looking up specifically for Ontario. I've answered the supplementary application deadline. We will only look at final grades. So the university will never look at in-progress grades. Those are not submitted to the province. We look at provincial transcripts. And so we will look, if you haven't yet posted a final official 30 level grade, we will look at the 20 level grades. We will not look at interim grades. If somebody's asking if you have weaker grade 11 marks, but you're doing grade 12, you may not meet our 85% threshold when we do the first pass, but we will continue to look, the university will continue to review your eligibility until seats are no longer available. So if you do much better at grade 12, anytime you have a 30 level grade, it will replace the 20 level that was below it. So if you have a strong Bio 30 grade that you've posted, we will not look at your Bio 20 grade. Yeah, no problem if you haven't taken the 30 level yet. If you haven't done the 20 level, we can't evaluate you until we have at a minimum the 20 level grade in these 4 courses. So we will, the courses like language courses, French or Spanish and so forth will be only considered in the additional academic course, but those are academic courses just like physics, Math 31, which is calculus here in Alberta, or social studies or history, for example. We have a question about what if you're redoing a 30 level course in the second semester? Well, we look at grades when they become available. So if what is there in front of us is your first attempt at that 30 level course, that will be captured if you were applying today. We look at what you have today. We'll make an admission decision based on that. I'm going to move to the next slide because I think I can answer some of the next questions on my chat based on what's on here. So the first thing that is important for everyone to understand, what I presented earlier about looking at everyone 85 and above, just because you meet the application or the admission criteria does not guarantee you admission. We have far, far more applications than we have available seats in the program. We admit only, as I said, about 105 students into year 1. And so we have many, many, many fold more than that. And so not all qualified applicants receive an offer of admission to the program. The early admission pathway does not mean early acceptance. This is a pathway that considers you on your grade 11 marks, except where a grade 12 mark has been posted in that course. So if you already have a Bio 30 mark posted, that is what we'll look at, not your Bio 20. And the early admission pathway also only looks at you if your grade 11 average on our required courses is at least 90%. Our first offers usually roll out in January. The reason for that, even though admissions opens in October, is because of our supplementary application process. We have to wait until we collect a reviewer pool, they become well-trained, and then we send out batches of reviews or batches of applications that to be reviewed, and we have to compile a joint score on that. So that's why our first offers will not roll out until January, and admissions will continue until our seats are filled. However, waiting until the university's March 1st application deadline or submitting your supplementary application at the March 1st deadline means that fewer seats are going to be available. And if anyone on this call is interested in transfer admission, this means you're already in university and you want to join our program while you're already in university. We have a very limited number of transfer seats each year. So yeah, so somebody's asking, when do we hear back? As I said, January will be our first offers roll out. I'm going to ask Jennifer to weigh in on how dual credit courses are included in the average. Do you want to answer that?
They typically aren't. We're looking at the 4 required courses, and then your highest academic course is automatically added to those 4 required courses.
There you go. That's from the boss. She knows these types of details. This essays are scored blindly. So when we say blindly, it means we remove your name. The reviewers do not know your academic performance. They don't know your GPA. They don't know what school you come from. They don't know your gender or anything from you. We're trying to remove any form of bias. If you do happen to include information, perhaps there's a question that's relevant that you somehow talk about that you were on the senior girls volleyball team. Well, our reviewer is probably going to infer that at least you play sports and you identify as a woman. So, but we don't blind out. It's not redacted like CIA transcripts or anything like that. We will just submit your answers as they are. We just take off all the stuff on the top. They don't know what you're applying to. Well, they know they're applying to a BHSC, but they don't know what major. They don't know anything else about you. And so it's just giving you a fair shot of letting them just look at your answers without possibly being influenced by anything else. A couple of folks are asking how many people apply to the program. We usually don't reveal that, but it is into well over 1,000 students, but much more than that. And so bringing in and only having 100 students in seats, admission is very competitive. Bushra is asking a question regarding medical school. There is no perfect or ideal program to apply to medical school, at least at the University of Calgary. And I can't speak to medical schools in other institutions. The University of Calgary has a very interesting medical school. It is only 3 years long, most are 4 years in Canada. But they take students from a wide variety of backgrounds. Some have already had careers. They've taken lawyers. They've taken people who've majored in dance and art history. They've taken poli-sci majors. They've taken our students out of all 3 majors. And they've taken engineering students. So there is no perfect, ideal, optimal course of undergraduate study. I would encourage you to do the thing that you're interested in. Because if you're interested in a program of study, you won't find it to be as much work. And if it's not as much work, your performance tends to reflect that as well. And applications to medical school are highly competitive. There is nothing about, so the Bachelor of Health Sciences program is embedded in the Cummings School of Medicine, but we have many programs of study there and we are just one. And so we don't have any preferential path to entering into medical school. You should be joining us if you're interested in research and developing research skills, if you're interested in health research questions, and if you're interested in developing skills like academic writing, oral communication, because those will be things that are asked of each and every student. Okay, I have a question about somebody. If my school only reaches grade 11, can I still apply? If I don't know of any Canadian in Canada, unless you are in the province of Quebec, in which case you would have to go and do Cégep, which is an additional 2-year program of study. You have to have your grade 12 equivalents. If you are an international student and coming from another jurisdiction, I would encourage you to connect with the international student advisors at the University of Calgary, who could best evaluate your specific situation. Yeah. Yes, the University of Calgary is connected to Apply Alberta. So if you are an Alberta-based post-secondary student, you do not have to request your transcripts. The university has the power, the skill, the magic, I don't know how they do it, to grab your official transcripts from the government of Alberta's Ministry of Education. So if you're in Alberta, if you are residing in a different province, if you're applying to us from Ontario, then there will be a point when you'll be asked to upload or to provide transcripts from your jurisdiction. Let's see, for early admission, will they be looking at grades of courses that are being taken currently? The university will only look at posted final grades. So if you are right now are enrolled in Bio 30 and you wrote a quiz on population genetics, Hardy-Weinberg equilibria, then no, we will not look at your Bio 30 grade until sometime in February when your Bio 30 grade becomes available. If you're applying today and they send us your application today, it will be because they evaluated you based on your Bio 20 mark. Okay, and the university won't look at anything until it's posted as a final transcripted grade. The additional academic course is chosen by the university. It is not chosen by you, but they just take your highest one that falls in. They have a list of what counts. So COM does not count. Some of the other, so I'll call them more career-oriented courses, do not count. What does work experience doesn't count. The academic courses, so it could be, yeah, as I said, it can be a language course, it can be a science or a math course, it can be a social science course. There we have a list of approved option courses that count towards that. And the university takes your highest one. What are the... okay, I've submitted my application with 20 level grades, but not yet submitted my questions. When those submitted, when after that will my full application be reviewed? So the university is always reviewing. As soon as students have applied, the university is going to begin reviewing applications. Or is this individual eligible for the BHSC program? They look at the courses. Do you have the courses that we need? And do you have the right grade standard? If you do, they send us your name and your GPA. And then we wait until we see if you've got an application in the system. And when we send out batches of applications to our reviewers, we begin getting in scores. And so come January, we will begin making decisions on who are our first offers going out to and who will receive admission to our program. And that will continue in January, February, March, we'll roll out our offers of admission. So the time it takes really depends on when your SUP app comes in, when it gets rolled out with a batch. Admittance is not come on a first come, first served basis. I mean, the most seats that are available are in the beginning, because once we start filling seats, you're competing for a smaller denominator. But just because you applied early doesn't give you it doesn't mean that you're going to necessarily be accepted. We look for the right fit because remember, we've got far more applicants and we only accept a small fraction of them. Yeah, I've already addressed that we don't have an official percent of people who get offers of admission, but it's down at about the 10% mark. If you're accepted based on your average prior to retaking the course, will you be reconsidered if there's still space? It really depends on when that course is completed. If our seats are full and you don't have that course posted until June or July, after you've written your diploma exam in that subject, it may be that there are no remaining seats available, even if that made you now eligible for a program. But the university, if you're applying to 2 programs at the university where BHSC is your first choice and you apply to a second choice program you're interested in, they will simultaneously consider you for both programs. It may be if you applied, for example, to biomedical sciences and biological sciences, you may hear in November or December that you have an offer to biological sciences. Fear not. We are still considering you for biomedical sciences, and you will, if you're eligible and we want to offer you admission, you will have, even if you accept the biosci opportunity, you can still then change your mind if we make you an offer to the BHSC program. Okay, somebody interested in choosing between the BHSC program and a program like a physiology program. So if your interest is in something like physiology, I would imagine that the closest of our 3 majors that you would be considering would be biomedical sciences. So in a program of physiology, you will absolutely gain the same foundation courses in biology, chemistry, some physics and math, but many more of your courses will be focused in the subject area of physiology. So you may take more advanced, so you would absolutely be graduating with deeper knowledge in the area of physiology. But you may not have the same opportunity to gain a bit of breadth in immunology and biochemistry and some of the cell biology that our biomedical sciences students gain. So one difference is that biomedical sciences will more broadly give you a foundation to help you determine what path or course you're interested in studying. But you also can still in our program take physiology and an advanced physiology course. You could do your honors thesis in the area of physiology. So physiology is really what drives you. You can gain the breadth of the biomedical sciences program while also gaining sufficient depth in physiology if that's where your area of interest lies. What our Bachelor of Health Sciences does differently than most programs, most Bachelor of Science programs, regardless of what major they are, is our emphasis on research and our emphasis on writing and on inquiry-based learning. And so if those are things that are interesting to you, if those are skills you want to develop, I would encourage you to apply to and consider our program. Many universities with their BSc programs, you will absolutely gain lots of courses in the area, but you may not develop the same kind of oral and written communication skills. You won't have the same depth of research opportunities that we have. Certainly university, for students looking at a physiology program at U of A, when they say they'll prepare you for research, graduates of those programs go into graduate school to conduct research, but they're not actually doing research while they're in their undergrad. And that's the difference. Some of our students publish research papers in scholarly journals. As I said, we have up to 50 summer studentship awards available to our BHSC students only for work in the summer. So lots of opportunities there to really hone. There's research that you learn in a classroom environment, a very structured environment, and research that you learn by doing in an authentic research environment. Yes, I've got a question here. Could I be accepted into my second choice before receiving an offer for BHSC? Absolutely, happens all the time. It's a process. You get equally considered for both programs. And if you do get a second choice offer, it does not impact your consideration by the BHSC program. If you got into biomed, would it be a hindrance to not do Math 31 in high school? So students do come to us without having taken Math 31, which if you're joining us from Ontario would be calculus. But you will be taking 2 university level calculus courses. So maybe I'll ask Jennifer to weigh in there on how the university does that and which calculus courses you would be encouraged to choose in the first year of your program.
If you're admitted to either biomedical sciences or bioinformatics, you do take a calculus course your first semester in the program. You just take a different course if you haven't taken the Math 31 equivalent. Bioinformatics students do go on to a second calculus course, but a second calculus course is not required for the biomedical sciences students. So if you took Math 31, you would begin with Math 265 as a first year university student. But if you didn't take Math 31, you would just register for Math 249 instead.
Yeah, because Math 31 isn't a required course, the university is aware that some students come in not having taken it. I'm getting questions here about AP or IB courses. So the BHSC program does not consider IB and AP courses in making its admission decisions. That said, students who have high standing in IB or AP courses, if they're admitted to the University of Calgary, may be eligible to get course credit for the work that they've done. And they may, for example, be able to take, have credit posted for their first year chemistry class if they did Chem IB, for example. So we do not consider it in our admission decisions, but the university does consider it. You may be able to use that to apply for course credit. If you are in that circumstance, I would encourage you to have a conversation with Jennifer Logan, and she can tell you about what some of the pros and cons of doing that if you're joining the University of Calgary. Somebody's asking if sports medicine 35 is an approved option, and I don't have the approved option memorized, and maybe Jennifer knows off the top of her head.
There are a wide variety of courses that the university grabs as that 5th course. If you have specific questions about which courses might be eligible, that is a fabulous question to send to Enrollment Services. When you go to the Enrollment Services website, they actually have a live chat box in the lower right-hand corner of the website where you can get answers pretty quickly.
So student is mentioning that their UCalgary page says admission offers are rolling out in mid-November. This is true for most other programs, but because of our supplementary application, the BHSC program does not roll out first offers until January. So it's if you're applying, it's a blanket statement they have up there. And I know that they plan to start rolling out offers very soon for other programs at the university. BHSC will be later. The SUP does not ask about volunteering or extracurriculars. So, you know, we recognize that not everyone has the opportunity to participate in extracurriculars in the way that others do. Perhaps it's because they've got to hold down a job, or they have to do chores on the farm, or they're supporting their family with employment and so forth. And so we deliberately do not ask a question asking you for your resume. And so I would say, read the questions, interpret the questions in your own way, and determine what you want to include. So somebody's asking if they have extenuating circumstances. That would be, I would encourage you to reach out to the University of Calgary admissions office regarding diverse qualifications, and to look at what that pathway can look like and which programs are eligible for that pathway. If you were not eligible for admission into the BHSC program as it currently stands, we do offer a limited number of transfer seats into the program if that's possible. So I would encourage you, it's called diverse qualifications, if that were to apply to you. Can I speak about kinesiology? How many from that faculty? There are no statistics as to how many from a given faculty get admitted to medical school. Certainly people with kinesiology degrees get admitted into medical school. I think you'd have to ask that from the medical admissions team. But here at the University of Calgary, there is no preferred pathway. If Jennifer, here's one that maybe you can help. If I'm still working on Chem 20, but I've finished all the rest of my 30 level courses, will I be considered for early admission?
No, you would have to have a final grade in Chem 20.
Okay, so that would mean that we would begin looking at you, or the university would view you as eligible in early February-ish, once your January course grades have been posted to the Ministry of Education. For students that follow the Alberta curriculum, is our transcript also automatically submitted? Northwest Territories, I don't know. And I can confidently say, because I've been teaching in this program since 2003 when our first students started, we have never had a student join us from NWT. So would be thrilled to have you. Welcome South. I don't know. And the university will prompt you. I mean, it will say to you, contact, here's what you need. That if you apply from your jurisdiction, because it's not based on curriculum, it's based on our ability to access the Ministry of Education's database. And unless NWT students are actually registered in the Alberta Education Database, which I don't know that they would be, I would think they would be in their territorial database. It may not be an automated process. The admissions office would know that off the top of their head. And I apologize that I don't have that. Since offers roll out in January, until then, is it first come, first serve? In other words, would it matter if I applied right now or if I applied later in the month? I mean, we will, there's two different steps. So it really depends on when we receive your supplementary application, because we can't review your supplementary application until that is submitted. The review of your courses and the calculation of your GPA is done centrally by the university admissions office. We evaluate and get the scores for your supplementary application, and we wait until the university sends over your score, your name and your score, and then we can look at the two together as we roll out offers. Okay. So we've addressed Math 31, which certainly, you don't have to take it. You would just take a different set of math courses. If somebody's asking about the scholarship, we have many scholarships. If it's the Leader in Health Sciences Scholarship, it does not involve nomination by the school in the way that something like Schulich Leaders does. If you're currently doing Math 20, will you be looking at our grade 10 marks? No, the university will not even look at you until that 20 grade is posted. So the earliest the university would consider you would be in February, because only then would you be considered eligible for us to review. If we apply with high marks, how many percentage points can our average fall for us still to be kept in the program? So every student is reviewed once their final grades in their 30 level courses that we require are posted. And so if there's a movement, a little bit of a movement, not a problem, because the university has lots of data that says your performance in this level predicts your performance in the second level. But if you decide that you have an offer of admission and then decide to sleep through your second semester of grade 12 and post marks that reflect that you slept through the grade, probably would not be advantageous to you. There is, if your average is 80%, you will not be considered for the BHSC program, and that decision is made centrally at the university and not by our program. We do not look at your bio. You will have a bio 30. So the way Alberta with IB students is you have to complete the Alberta curriculum and you complete the IB curriculum, and you write your IB exams, which gets you IB scores, but you'll also be writing your Bio 30 exams. And so the Alberta Education will have a Bio 30 score for you. And that is what we look at. Yeah, so I'm not sure what you mean by choosing. Do I choose the Bio 30 course or manually input it and specify the bio course is an IB course, since it isn't listed as one of the courses? I mean, Jennifer, do you have some insight?
If you have any questions about actually navigating the inputting of a course, that's something you will have to address with admissions.
Yeah, thank you. Gabriel has offered to Janine that you should put the courses as they appear on your transcript. The university looks at your transcript, so that's what we have. There, we do not, so incoming students may choose to identify a summer research opportunity, and not too many do, because you're in school until end of June, and most summer research isn't 2 months long. We do not have any funding for high school students prior to them joining. I mean, you have to be finished your first year before you're eligible for that funding. Yeah. So again, somebody's asking about admission offers. Ours will go out in January. Other admission offers at the university go out in November. We have a supplementary application process, which slows our time to admission. The only difference between the two math courses is one assumes the knowledge gained in Math 31. One assumes that you don't have Math 31, and so it's based on that. So yeah, if you're interested in graduate school after a Bachelor of Health Sciences program, gosh, our students have gone into all range of graduate programs. There you would become much more specialized. I have had BHSC graduates who've been in my laboratory, which is a specialization in cancer biology. Others have done a master's in neuroscience or a master's in cardiovascular science. Some have done, or a PhD in neuroscience. I mean, so yes, you can do a biochemistry degree, PhD in physiology. You can then become more specialized. You don't do a master's in health sciences. You do a more specialized graduate degree. Okay. Yes, if you're applying with your 20 levels, we will look at your 30 level performance. So I encourage you to continue striving to perform as well as you can in your 30 level courses. We don't require physics for high school, and physics 30 for admission, but you will be taking physics courses if you join the biomedical sciences program. If you're in health and society, you don't, and bioinformatics, you don't. But biomedical sciences do take physics. And then again, there's two different physics courses at the first year, one that is for those who have physics 30 and one that is for those who haven't had physics 30. No, you don't have to do both. The Math 249 and Math 265 have the same curriculum. It's just one has additional supports in it to get you up to speed. You do not do both if you're starting at 249. I don't know, Serafina. I don't know if Art 20 or Choir 30 are on the academic list. You'd have to look at what the approved academic options are. And it's really, when we talk about 20 and 30 level courses, it's really on those 4 named courses that we need. You will be prompted when to send your transcripts if you're from out of province. That's not run out of our program. That is requested by the university. So if the university requires you to submit your transcripts, it will show on your to-do list after applying. So somebody's asking if I accept an offer to biosci, if I get an early offer to biological sciences, and then I pay my deposit and I say, yep, I'm coming to the University of Calgary. What happens if I then get an offer to biomed? We say, welcome aboard, and your money transfers over. It just goes into your account. It goes towards your first tuition payment, regardless of what your program is. Okay. We have asking about financial aid. So we have a number of scholarships that we have for our program, including admission awards and entrance awards. There are Alberta specific financial aids, but then the University of Calgary has lots of different financial aids for students who come from other jurisdictions. Some of them are for Canadian students, if you're from another province in Canada, but there may also be supports for international students. I would encourage you on the admissions site to go to the financial aid and scholarships portion to look for more information. Somebody's asking about scoring on the supplementary application. So your application will be independently reviewed by 3 people. And so we then can average those scores. And yes, we equally weight your supplementary application score and your GPA. So if you have posted, as soon as you have posted a 30 level grade in a course, we will not look at your 20 level grade. If you got 99 in Math 30-1 and 69 in Math 20-1, doesn't matter. We'll look at the Math 30-1. That's the performance we'll evaluate. Is it possible for students to take a sabbatical year or a gap year and still apply for a scholarship? I mean, the only scholarship we have to which a student applies for the Bachelor of Health Sciences program is the Leader in Health Sciences Scholarship. It is not available for students who have taken a gap year. It is for high school admits, for high school students. Question on early admission. When they're looking at the early admission pathway, so that's what I've written right here on this slide. The pathway considers you on a grade 11 marks if your grade 11 average on the required courses. So that's the 4 courses is 90%. With the President's Entry Award, I have nothing to do. Our program is not, I mean, students have held the President's Award and joined our program, but the GPA calculations for that are done by the awards office at the University of Calgary. If you have a specific question like Hannah is asking, I would encourage you to contact the awards office to ask them what they, how they calculate the average for that scholarship. It is not part of our program directly, and so I don't want to give you the wrong answer. Oh, so I've got a direct question to me that is asking if your average is sitting at an 84. If you're sitting at an 84, we will never know that you applied. The university makes the decision that you're not eligible for us. If you do upgrading and later on in the admission cycle, you meet the 85 threshold, then your name will be sent to us and we will consider you for admission. The Leader in Health Sciences Scholarship is part of the Prestige Scholarship opportunity. And so I believe that I'm not even sure, Watson, that I can, Watson Zoe or Zoe Watson, not sure which is if you go in as you apply, it's part of the Prestige Scholarship. So you indicate as part of the Prestige application that you wish to be considered for the Leader in Health Sciences Scholarship. and then we receive the names from the awards office. Jennifer, can you weigh in?
Yes, if you go to the UCalgary website and just search for Prestige Awards, it will take you directly to the awards website, and it gives you the information about the Prestige Awards, and there's a link right there that says apply for awards. So it's very easy to find.
Perfect. And then I've got a final private message that's been sent. Are there research opportunities students can get during the school year? I mean, any individual can reach out to a faculty member at the University of Calgary to inquire whether they're taking research students or whether they're offering high school students. There are restrictions in place currently due to COVID-19. There are limitations on who can be at the University of Calgary campus. The Bachelor of Health Sciences program does not facilitate any research placements for high school students into university labs. We simply don't have the staffing capacity to be able to do that. Even students in our own program, while we have funding for them, we do not do a matchmaking service, and we give them the skills for how they would do that themselves. We weigh very closely, similarly. I mean, they're on two different kind of grading scales, your GPA and your supplementary application score. So please take the time to reflect thoughtfully on them, on your responses before submitting them. It's not a timed opportunity at all. Yeah. So I did, if I have somehow skipped over your question, please pop it in the chat. I don't even know. I'm going to stop screen share here. That might be a little easier. Don't hesitate to let me know if there are any other questions that you have. We're happy to answer them. If not, I appreciate that you've taken the time this evening to join us from wherever life finds you. And I hope I've intrigued you about the Bachelor of Health Sciences program. We are available. Send your questions to bhsc@ucalgary.ca. Oh, another question. Are there other scholarships available? Every student who is admitted into our program is considered for scholarship.